it's time to start putting it together a little bit again because it's there. We've seen stretches and long enough stretches. We've seen playoff seasons
Hmm.
where he's been a real effective player, and guys go through this. He needs you need more out of him right now, and it's there. He's got it.
Welcome back, everyone, to Up in the Blue Seats, your favorite Rangers podcast from the New York Post. As always, I'm Mollie Walker, your Rangers beat writer for the New York Post, and I am joined by Rangers favorite, former Rangers favorite, still Rangers favorite, Brian Brian Boyle. And we've got another really great episode for you guys today. Rangers are coming off a big win last night in Vancouver to snap a three-game losing streak. So much needed, and even more so coming on the heels of JT Miller's return to Vancouver, which was obviously a circled date on everybody's calendar. It was a 2-0 win, big shutout for Jonathan Quick, 23 saves, 64th shutout of his career, and just a much needed win for the Rangers. Much better defensive effort as well.
Yeah.
Brian, what did you see last night from the Rangers?
Yeah, it looked like they had control of the game. I wanted to see, a little more dominance offensively, but that's still, a work in progress. But when you're not quite right, you need to go back to defending, and I think they did that. Now, there's a big, big element that was missing from Vancouver's lineup, and then in the third period, their other most dynamic offensive player had to leave the game, and Connor Garland, but who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. You try to win the games that are on your schedule, and if Quinn Hughes is out, he's not playing. That's a benefit. And you look at,
Yep.
you mentioned how important it was. I thought it was really interesting, and that the coaching staff, Mike Sullivan and the team, they haven't lost the plot of, we want to win all these games, but we have these guys to come in and play. So Jonathan Quick goes in and plays. I think Jonathan Quick's a Hall of Fame goalie.
Oh yeah.
But he's clearly the number two goalie in New York, and they have to go in and on their captain returning to his old team. They lean on Jonathan Quick, which is empowering to a lot of players. They make some lineup tweaks because it didn't go well in Calgary, and
Hmm.
I give him a lot of credit. Like, just get in there, get your business done, take care of what you're supposed to, win the game. Doesn't matter how, but if you can, stifle them, and they did. There was a little bit of a push at the end where I thought the flurries that Vancouver got in particular. I know we're getting a little into the nitty-gritty of this game, but like, Susie took a penalty. It was the ref's fault. The ref got in the way twice.
Right.
The lines got in the way twice, and then he's just skating in his space, and Pedersen sort of jump hugs him and falls down. They call it a penalty. And then John McIsaac, who is one of the refs, he's a good ref. I'm not getting on him. He got in the way like four times in the offensive zone for
Yeah.
the Rangers in the corner. Like, you got to get out of the way. I don't know what he was doing. Um, but they fought through all that, and Quickie was good at the end. And obviously, there was some emotions at the end for both sides. I thought they stuck up for each other nicely. It's a huge moment for JT. I wish he got
Mm.
an empty netter there. He looked like he might have had a chance, but did you know he's just one of two players that have averaged over a point a game in Vancouver?
Yeah.
I think Kenny
Is
Almer,
it
Dave
Burr?
Oates,
Burr was the other one, right?
Pavel Bure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the Russian Rocket. He was unbelievable. But I mean, he was an unbelievable player for them. And
Yeah.
now I'm happy he's in New York.
A quick question. This just kind of came across my mind. In that situation, when the refs are getting in the way all the time, are you yelling at them as a player on the ice to get out of the way?
Get
That
the
they keep
out of
doing.
the way,
Yeah.
screaming at them. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
I was just checking. I just wanted
Well,
to
it's
just
not,
wanted to
yeah,
make sure there.
it's not youth sports, right? So you can say things that you
Right.
can't say in a youth sports environment, but it's also, there's a respect there where you just kind of look at them like,
Right.
come
What
on,
are you
man. And
doing?
they're like, I know,
What?
and then,
I
every
can't
single
imagine
game
how difficult it is.
oh
It's
God,
so fast. It's trying
I
to stay
like,
out of the way.
I like fake ref 10-year-olds sometimes. And I'm like,
Fake ref.
it's brutal. You got to get out of the way. It's hard, but it's so unpredictable. So I'm not trying to harp on that, but yeah. And then you always are like, hey, are we good here? Where'd you go last night?
Yeah.
Get a few pops. And then, but it's understood. Like, I've made five mistakes this game too, so I'm not like getting on you.
Yeah.
It,
That's
it
so
it's
funny. Oh my
the
God.
banter. The banter should be recorded and
Yeah.
played on a
Somewhere. It's there somewhere.
platform with a advisory though, because the language is colorful.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can only imagine. Um, but yeah, getting into JT's return, I mean, for me, and I wrote about this after watching him field questions from Vancouver media. It was so fascinating for me to see him in this sort of setting because ever since he was named captain and ever since really he's rejoined the Rangers, he's just been so steadfast in everything he says and everything he does. He's a force of nature in so many different ways, both on the ice and off the ice, truly. But you could see how conflicted he was ahead of this anticipated return and knowing that the emotions were coming, already feeling the emotions. He said just touching down on the tarmac, he was feeling some type of way about being back in Vancouver. So he was really grappling with what a big night it was for him and his family, but also his responsibilities as Rangers captain to not cause any distractions and want the team to be focused. So it was like the two sides
Yeah,
of this coin were going back and forth during this scrum. And it was really fascinating to see that for me. And I thought he handled it so well. He was raw and honest as he always is and as he has been since he joined the Rangers again. But yeah, I also spoke with him earlier in the season, and we naturally kind of touched on his time in Vancouver. And I really feel like he has learned so much and has matured so much, especially since his first time in New York. And he told me that Vancouver is really where he put it all together as an NHLer and like
sure.
thought to himself, I want to learn from all my mistakes and want to get it right this time. And he said that the opportunity he got there in Vancouver playing in all situations is one that you dream about your whole career. So you could really tell how much it meant to him. And you said you were going back and forth with him after the game. What did he have to say?
Well, I just congratulated him because I know, like you said, he was an emerging player, a useful, very good player in New York. He went to Tampa and they were sort of loaded up front. He was playing on the fourth line,
Yep.
getting 45 points a year, which is like, I always was proud of the production that I could get out of those minutes when I would get 25 points in a season, or if I could get, 15 goals. It was just, that was the role. So if you could squeeze something out of it, and he was doing obviously because his ceiling and where he is from a talent standpoint is so high. So he goes and makes himself not just a complete player, but a superstar. He was a
Mm.
superstar, 99 point
Yep.
season, over 100 point season, and a big part of like what Team USA is going to be doing. And I think his personality, everybody has different personality traits, and his personality is perfectly suited as a leader of men in a sport like hockey in the NHL.
Hmm.
It's not golf, it's not where, kids are there and microphones. You go into the arena, the door shuts, there's glass on the door that goes up, so you can keep things in and you can keep things
Yep.
out. And there's a reason for it. It's a violent, abrasive, emotionally charged up game. I would want that as much as you can because the issues I ran into throughout the course of a season were games where I couldn't bring that, where I didn't
Right.
have a short wick, where I didn't have a quick fuse, and I couldn't get emotionally invested. It's not for everybody, and I think I might have told this story before, but Rick Bowness was our coach in Tampa, and he sat down, and I was sitting next to Victor Hedman, and he sat down next to Victor, and he pointed at him and said, "Listen, you can't get mad. You need to let things go and just play your game because when you get mad, it's not your best performance." And then he
Hmm.
looked at me and he
Not
said,
you.
"You make sure you get mad because you play better when you're mad. Victor, you don't." And then Victor started getting mad. He's like, "Well, how come I can't get mad?" I'm like, just don't get Victor. He's making a joke. He doesn't really care about me. He's a D coach and you're a Norris D man.
Yeah.
Like, but it was so funny because like some guys, yeah, you can rattle them and it
Yeah.
changes the way they play. And for me, I needed it and he needs it
Yeah.
too. And a lot of guys do, but when there's too much of one thing on a team, it could go a number of different ways, but usually it's not great. You need those different personalities. I think just him being here, I look at big picture things. I look at what Mika's been doing this year, and that's probably coming from Mika, but I don't think JT
Hmm.
hurts it at all. He's been playing really, really well. He could easily have 8 or 9 goals. He's
Yeah.
skating really well. He's competing, and defensively last night he put on a clinic. So I like the really important guys on this team, what they were doing, particularly last night. It's a really good sign.
Yeah. It was funny being in Vancouver, having all the other, media, and I went on a radio show and everybody's asking me, how's the JT Miller experience? Because obviously it was quite an experience for the city of Vancouver and
Yeah.
the Canucks as an organization. And
Most people are crazy
um
anyways up there, those Canucks fans. Out of
yeah,
their mind.
listen, it's the Canadian market. It's
Yeah.
intense for sure. But obviously it was his intensity that was kind of, you know, everything that happened with Pedersen and the public feud that was there. There was a lot of discussion and debate about whether his intensity was what was right for the locker room and things like that. And when I talked to him about it, I mean, I'll read you this quote. I really thought it was an absolute money quote and really just explains who he is as a person as well. He told me, I don't try to be on the edge. I don't try to be abrasive. I don't try to be emotional. I just am. I think I've had a lot of help with coaches in Vancouver and the guys here in New York embrace that instead of change that. He then said, when I'm a choir boy, I don't bring my A game. It's just a fact. I know
Yeah.
that. But I think recognition of all the things I talked about makes me who I am as a player. It's just taken a long time to figure that out. So it was cool to see him back in the Vancouver environment because I truly believe that really made him who he is today as the 29th
Mhm.
captain of the Rangers. So it was a great night. He had his kids there, his wife was there. They all came to see friends in the area as well. They spent nearly 6 seasons there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a nice night. Got a great video tribute after they booed him pretty heavily when he first touched the puck. I think that's always a good sign when you get some boos and you get cheers. That's kind of how you know you did it right.
He traded him. He traded him. What do you, he's that never made sense. They're crazy, crazy Vancouver people. They're crazy. They love their team, and that's great. And I love playing there because they love their team. But you're
Yeah, it's a
crazy.
good
You're
atmosphere.
all crazy in Vancouver. Great city. Great
Yeah.
city. You know what?
Um,
Fox was unreal too.
yeah, no, he had a good night. There was a few guys. Sam Carrick. I
Yeah.
mean, Sam Carrick, what an unsung hero he is for this team. He is just an absolute beast in so many different ways. Another fight, and then that empty netter. I
The
was joking with him.
dragon. He fought the
Yeah,
dragon. Poor
yeah.
Marcus.
He held his own though. It was good. I was joking with Sam after the game. I was like, "Oh, really good aim on that empty netter," because it was obviously not intentional. He was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, no, that
What
was
what
luck."
like I mean there was and forgive me here. There was 16 games last night and I worked and then I drove 4 hours and I came back and I watched a bunch of different ones. Was that empty netter like did it look like they moved the stick
Yeah,
out of the way or something? Like
he
how did
like
it
it
go in?
almost it would look like a spinorama. Like he just kind of like flicked it around, and then it was headed right in. It was weird. It did not look like it was going to go in from where
Right.
he was like more than halfway down the
I thought it was
ice.
going to be stopped too, though. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm losing it though. There was so much going on last night. It was kind of awesome, but it was
Yeah.
also like we can't do that more than once.
Yeah.
For
Frozen
my
frenzy,
current
baby.
my current job, I can't handle it. It's too much. I've been like all morning. I was like, wait, what was
Yeah.
Colorado was up
The goals
5 and then it was
they're
five
blending
four.
together.
Yeah. Anyways,
All right. I
trying to
feel
scout
like,
the next teams. Edmonton looks
yeah,
hot right now.
it's a lot. Yeah. Yeah. We're in Edmonton now. Good old beautiful Edmonton. Um, Another guy that I feel like people have been talking about is Alexis Lafreniere. He's got 1 goal, 3 assists in
Yeah.
11 games, a team worst -9. Just what's your evaluation of his start to the season here?
Yeah, no, not good enough for what he's been given responsibility to do, right? Like that's what comes with that contract. and he earned it. I thought he was lights out before he signed it. And it's time to start putting it together a little bit again because it's there. We've seen stretches and long enough stretches. We've seen playoff seasons
Hmm.
where he's been a real effective player, and guys go through this. He needs you need more out of him right now, and it's there. He's got it, but he should be like one of the guys. And I don't know if he is. You're there more than I am, but like I
Mm,
see, and we talk about it all the time. We talk about Crosby before and after practice. I've talked about Kucherov before and
right.
after practice. And I've seen marked improvement with different guys that just stay like Brian Rust he's on Crosby's hip every morning and every, post
You're right.
practice. And all of a sudden that guy's shot is incredible. Like he's got
Hmm.
this release, he doesn't miss. And now Laugh is set up in a spot on the power play where he's going to have opportunities to shoot, but it's one stick handle every time. So if there's a tweak I'd make, it'd be like, get it off quicker and just hit the net. You don't even have to, if you get off a one timer or a sweeper where you don't stick handle, goalies are good, but they're not that good. It's gonna lead to points. Either it goes in the net or it sits right on the doorstep. And
Right.
and the coaching staff will tweak with that because I'm sure they've seen glimpses of what the ceiling could be. And there's a reason he went where he went, and there's a reason that he got the contract he did because he earned it. And um, they're I think they're probably all like Panarin too, to an extent, is trying to embrace this way of playing. And Panarin played for Torts for a while. He doesn't. He should be Panarin should be allowed to do different things. And you would think, okay, if there's a little bit of different structure, could he adapt? And yeah, I think he could because of how well he did in Columbus under Torts. So last night I see him dump the puck in more in a game than I saw last season. So he's trying to buy in, and a couple times his line mates were changing, he's going in to get it, but like then he gets off, and you have four of the five fresh guys out. Like those are wins for me. And eventually he's going to get his opportunities because everybody's bought in, especially if he's buying in. So there is an adjustment, like we talked about in the fall before the season started a couple months or a couple weeks ago. Like they're going to look great sometimes. They're going to be really good defensively. It's not going to be perfect every game.
Hmm.
It's going to take halfway through the season until they can really hit the ground running because it's a lot of change. New coaching
Yeah.
staff, a couple of people out, a couple of people in. It's a lot of change. So but when you have solid, like, all right, punch the clock, 2 points, we get out of here, wins like that. Yeah, you want to put up 6, 7 goals and have everyone feel good, but like that's a great like foundational piece win. Go back to that game when you're struggling in 3 weeks or you have a rough night in 3 weeks. This is what we did so well. Where it's in
Right.
there, we can get back to it. And Lafreniere, you can build off that. Make sure you're doing the littler things right, changing hard, forechecking, defending. Like don't be on the ice for goals against or chances against. Some of that's empty netters, but and then your game's going to start to open up a little bit. Teams are going to back off and you'll get more time and space.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting how many games have been so low scoring, low event for this Rangers team because that was not their bread and butter at all for the last however many
Totally different
seasons.
DNA now.
Right? It's
Yeah.
like that's actually kind of one of the story, or at least the angle that I was going into practice with later today. Just kind of wanted to talk to some of those guys in there that have obviously been on the team for some time and how different it is for them to be playing in these, that's the other thing is you need to learn how to play with a lead, how to defend a lead, and how to
Mhm.
close out games, which is something that they've struggled with.
Yeah, and the period thing the other day was, it was rough when they just ended the period, almost gave it up again at the end. Overtime.
It was
Oh,
close.
oh my
Holding on
gosh.
for dear life at the end of that one a little bit, but
Yeah, but you know what coaches like low event because it means they're not giving up
yeah,
much. When you have Igor and then your backup's Jonathan Quick, I mean, wouldn't you try to scheme up a game that's low event? And it's like, look
yeah,
at these horses, like when they're really on, when JT's on, when Millsy's when Mika's really on, Troch is back, we're gonna get chances. We're gonna earn those chances.
mm,
And then that we're gonna grind teams down. That's how you get power plays. That's how you score goals. Like people don't understand that the teams that dump it in the most and get the puck back because of their work ethic and they're all on the same page, it's the Florida Panthers and Carolina Hurricanes. And that's the class of the East the last 3 years. So That those are numbers. Those are stupid analytics that I hate. But that there you go.
Right.
That's a stat if you want a stat.
Right. All right, let's mosey on over to some injury news. We do have a negative update as it pertains to Matt Rempe. He is going to be out longer term. Mike Sullivan told us the other day. It's looking more like a week to week basis for him, which obviously, uh, what kind of loss is that? Not only for the Rangers, but just in terms of his development and this little run that he was going on with this increased role before the injury.
I think, you want more reps, especially his age and his experience level. So it's not good. It's not a good thing.
Hmm. Yeah,
But how he played to start the year, and then the thing that sucks the most is that the fight was a heavyweight fight. It was awesome.
it was.
He got popped a few times and just got madder and madder, and you saw that determination. And then he looks at the bench, and then he's like, "Oh, I realize something's wrong here." But he didn't even think about that when the fight was over. He's just looking at the bench, and he's all jacked up, and it's like there's five of those guys in the whole league, and he fought one of them.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you're gonna miss that for a little while. That's which is brutal. And he's young. But I think where he is in terms of it's the NHL. I mean, you're never safe. If you have a rough stretch, you
Of
should be looking
course.
over your shoulder. I did my whole career. So, but he should feel good about what position he's put himself in. The fact that it is a tangible loss right now. A guy that big, you'd think right when he started, maybe 3, 4 years, he'll come in. If you look at fighters in the past who had to turn themselves into players and then they could fight, it took him 3 or 4 years in the minors, fighting
Mm.
30 times. So he's ahead of schedule still. Hopefully, when he comes back, he's healthy because the way he plays, you wouldn't want to risk re-injuring it. But it's tough. And then but Sam Carrick's there.
Not worried about the
He's throwing
fighting
down.
thing because
Yeah.
Sam Carrick's got it covered, that's for sure.
Yeah,
And
but
he is,
that line was good. That line was
yeah,
good. So hopefully it's not too bad and he can get back and be effective.
yeah. We shall see with that. On the positive side of the injury news, Vincent Trocheck has resumed skating. He skated for a couple days in a row back in New York. Technically, he is eligible to come off of LTIR on November 1st and play against Seattle, but that's not happening. Doesn't really seem like he would be able to join them on the trip. And Mike Sullivan said that he would definitely want to get him into a practice before putting him into a game, obviously. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, that is our injury report. Before we wrap things up, we did see some personnel changes, lineup changes as well
Mhm.
with the Rangers lineup in Vancouver. Sullivan opted to go with a bit more veteran presence, choosing Johnny Brodzinski over Brendan Othman and then Urho Vakanainen over Matthew Robertson. What did you make of those couple of line changes, Ryan?
Well, again, we talked about the personnel that Vancouver had or didn't have with Quinn being out. And, you know, I like Johnny Brodzinski a lot. I think he brings a lot of speed.
Mm,
You can
yeah.
trust him. Like as a head
Hmm.
coach, you look over and you're looking at the numbers and you just say, yeah, you can go here in this situation or that. There's a lot of boxes that Brodzinski can check when you think you're just going to grind one out. Um, and for the young kids that you take out, your first game, 2 games, you're kind of running on adrenaline. You just are, and
Hmm.
you try to and then the emotional swings are bigger. So if you make 2 mistakes in a row, as opposed to you make a mistake, but you do 3 good things, and you can kind of roll through it. But if it's starting to trend the other way a little bit as a coach, I don't have any issue with like, all right, come here, let's watch this on the video. Let's watch the game from up top where it's really easy. You're gonna get your chance again. Don't be looking over your shoulder all the time. That's usually the approach. It's happened with me before where I was like, that makes a lot of sense. You never want to be scratched. It's sort of like
Yeah,
embarrassing, but they got you have to have extra players, especially on a road trip, and then you want to get
right.
veteran guys back in. You don't want to bury a guy with still October. So Vakanainen, like, all
Hmm.
right, you've sat for a little bit.
Hmm.
What did we learn? What can we do? How can we simplify? Or earn the coaching staff's trust back. And you've seen great teams do it. Guys go in and out all year long. They are embracing their role. They don't have to be happy with it, but they have to embrace the role and be contributing members of the team if an injury happens or if the coach
Hmm.
wants a different sort of matchup. So I don't think it's a huge deal because I liked Robertson especially, and he's kind of earned, I thought, his call up for sure. We'll see sort of where it goes. You never know after a win, but I don't think Sully win lose. I don't think he cares. He's going to
Yeah,
put on the
no.
lineup. He'll change the lineup if he has to. Uh,
Hmm.
it's interesting though. Everybody wants to play the kids all the time, which I
Yeah.
understand, but trying to win hockey games.
Yes, that is the most important thing. All right. I think that's a good place for us to stop. Give us a thumbs up, comment down below, tell us your thoughts on Matt Rempe's injury, what you thought of JT Miller's return to Vancouver. Give us your thoughts, feelings, comments, concerns, and we'll chat again next week. Thanks for listening.